Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess Hover. It is so good to have you here. If you're new, welcome. I make a lot of content for parents. I am a parent. I have a 5-year-old, a 1-year-old. He is, how old? He's almost 16 months old. And then I am growing a little woman child here, and she is 34 weeks. But I have been in and out of the hospital now multiple times for preterm labor. So this child may come later today, or she may come at her due date, which is still 6 weeks away. We'll find out together. If you are looking for more support in your parenting journey, join us on Facebook. We have a private group called Jess Hover and Friends. Really great people in there sharing thoughts, encouragement, support for one another. If you want to see more of my life, I'll see you on Instagram. It's at Jess_Hover. And we have a business to support moms and families, and dad stuff is coming this week and we're so excited. So it's called Very Good Mothers Club. We would love to have you come be a part of it. If there's anything on there that you want, order it. It supports our family and we're so excited, and we personally mail it out to you and write you a little note, and it's so fun. Today's video is about something that I'm currently going through, so I'm just going to speak like friend to friend on this, not as an expert, but as somebody who's learning and it's actually working, and so I'm going to share with you. So my situation is this: my child is dropping a nap and has been experiencing early morning wakings, meaning waking up between 4 and 6 in the morning. That's my son Wilson. And so we are going from 2 naps to 1 nap, and we're trying to conquer these early morning wakings. And I've been learning about this and implementing some things, and I'm just hoping it will help you. So I'm going to talk about those 2 things right now. What I will say is I'm actually taking a class on baby sleep to try and inform me on what to do. So I'm taking a class through helping babies sleep. So I'm going to link that below if you guys want to take the class. I super recommend it. The woman who teaches it her name is Sarah. She's great. She's been super friendly with me. A lot of you have recommended taking care of babies, and I know who you're talking about. Her content's awesome. She has a lot of free content that I've used over the years and really appreciate. Her price point was a bit high for what my family could afford, so I was looking for other options, and I'm really grateful that I found helping babies sleep. So that's my response to those of you who have written me about that. Really appreciate the correspondence happening there. And yeah, I recommend helping baby sleep. That's what I'm using, and I like it. So right now I'm doing the one for Wilson. There's 2 classes that she offers. I'm doing the older one first because I need it actually right now. And then as I finish that one, I'm going to begin the newborn one so I can prepare better for this baby, because I'm a little freaked out about adding a newborn to the mix, even though I've already done this twice. Those babies were spaced out 4 years. Eloise and Wilson are 4 years and 2 days apart from each other, so I had a lot of time to figure that out. This little number here, this number 3, she surprised us, and her arrival is gonna surprise us, and I just don't want her sleep to surprise me that much, so I'm trying to be ready for that. Early morning wakings, let's talk about that. From what I understand, an early morning waking means your baby is waking up between 4 and 6. If it's waking up before 4, that's technically a night waking. And after 6 is pretty standard from what I understand of things I've learned. I'm gonna talk to you like as just Jessica looking into this stuff. Go consult a professional if you want more detailed information, because these people really know what they're talking about and they study this stuff. For me, Wilson was waking up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., way too early for my pregnant self to handle. So I've been trying to figure out what to do. When it comes to early morning wakings, what I understand of this is that there are several things that could cause it. One being your baby is overtired, and then one kind of ironic thing about babies is it could also be that your child is getting too much daytime sleep. So one is your child's not getting enough quality sleep, and the other is they're getting too much quality sleep during the day. So you want to kind of figure that out. The way that I have found to work best in my life is I Google a sleep schedule, a suggested sleep schedule for my baby's age. and find something that recommends something that kind of fits my lifestyle. There are some amazing things that you'll be able to find on the web that will suggest, like, if your baby wakes up at this time, then they should probably take a nap at this time, and it'll tell you very clearly suggested wake time for your baby so that you understand how long to space out your wake time for your baby before they take their next nap. It's gonna get tricky when your baby drops a nap, but I'll tell you about that in a second, okay? So if your baby is getting too much daytime sleep, that could affect why they're waking up so early. And then if your baby is overtired, that could also do it. So one thing I've seen is, and I've implemented, is trying to put my son to bed slightly earlier versus slightly later. I think naturally we think, oh, our baby's waking up so early, they probably just need to go to bed later and then they'll sleep in longer. And that hasn't been effective in my experience. And from what I'm reading and learning from this class, that isn't the most effective way to do it. So having an earlier bedtime may be more beneficial. And you could try it even just like 15 minutes earlier and see if that helps. Another thing we tackled was sunlight getting in the room. So if sunlight is getting in, that can trigger an early morning wake up. And so for us, we have blackout curtains and blinds. My little sister, she had blackout curtains, blinds, and trash bags taped to her windows because she was that committed to not getting up before 6 a.m. Whatever you can do to help make sure that your baby's not getting light in the morning may help your baby to sleep in longer. Another thing that I was doing with Wilson that I didn't realize was actually not helping at all was I was putting him down for his first nap too early, and it was sort of cementing that early morning wake time, because what was happening is he was waking up so early. So then as soon as he was showing signs of being tired again, I was already really tired. So I was like, oh great, we're taking a nap together, this is going to be awesome. But then I was sort of starting this routine then of starting our days really early and then doing early naps, and I didn't like that at all. So I began to push that first nap later, and I'm going to tell you how I did that, but I found that to be very helpful. So stretching that first wake time a bit is a good idea. Another thing that we saw for Wilson waking up early was maybe that he was hungry, and so we tried to give him a lot more calories before he went to sleep at night. I also, at one point recently, when he first woke up at like a 4:30 wake up, I gave him a bottle of milk. So Wilson doesn't wake up to nurse in the night. He doesn't wake up to take a bottle at all. But I thought maybe if I could give him a bottle at like 4:45 or something, he would go back to sleep. And what ended up happening was he was like, oh cool, we're having breakfast already. This is so great. I'm gonna wake up and hang out with you. And it wasn't a good idea. So I didn't do that anymore. And then we just tried to give him more calories throughout the day so that I was sure that when he woke up in the morning, it wasn't because he was hungry, it was something else. So making sure the baby's getting a lot of food is good. All right, so now that I've covered some like basic things that might be contributing to why your baby is waking up so early. Oh, two other things that could be a possibility. Isn't it mysterious having kids? Everything is like, perhaps this is what's happening. Nothing is totally clear. But I'm sorry, that's so normal. But it's just a temporary season. They grow quickly and it's going to get easier, just so you know. But if they're sick, like having an ear infection for Wilson, that's something that will come up early in the morning. Eloise didn't struggle with that as a baby. Wilson has had multiple ear infections as a baby, and or teething sometimes can wake them up early. Though I will say with those two things, if I give him some sort of medicine or like soothing, then he would go back to sleep. So that's sort of how I was able to tell that this thing that we were going through right now isn't related to sickness, it's related to something else. And for us, it seems like it's related to dropping a nap and trying to figure out how to do that. It's also not a sleep regression, which you can Google sleep regressions and they'll tell you like times that are pretty standard that babies are going to struggle with their sleep and why that happens. It usually is connected to some form of developmental leap, we call it, something where your baby is growing, thriving, learning something amazing, and torturing you because they are not able to sleep as their brain is doing all of these amazing things at the same time. So, dropping naps. When is your baby going to drop a nap? I have some notes here that I took from different things that I found. Your baby is probably gonna go from 4 naps to 3 naps around the age of 4 to 5 months-ish, okay? Your baby is probably gonna go from 3 naps to 2 naps around 6 to 8 months-ish. And your baby's gonna go from 2 naps to 1 nap anywhere between 13 and 17 months. That is such a long, confusing window. That's the one that I'm in right now, where I can't tell when exactly Wilson is trying to drop this nap. What I have heard is that you want to give it a few days, even like 2 weeks of understanding, is your baby actually trying to drop a nap, or is your baby just being a little bit tricky with sleep? Because if you drop a nap prematurely, you might just have a real tired, grumpy, underslept baby, and that's not so nice. So for us, that's what we've been trying to do, is gauge, is Wilson actually ready to go from 2 to 1 nap? It seems like some days he seems really ready for just 1 long nap. Other days he needs 2 naps, or we're all gonna die because he is so difficult to be around. Here are some ways that you can know if you should be dropping a nap. Well, your baby all of a sudden just doesn't seem tired at nap time. That's one that you would want to see consistently happen for a few days, because it's not that crazy that one day your baby fights a nap. But if you see that pattern happening for 3, 4, 5, 7, now 14 days, something like that, you know for sure, okay, my baby is ready to change up their nap schedule. If the last nap is interfering with bedtime, which we just experienced last night, Wilson's last nap ended at what, like 5:30 p.m., which for me is way too late because I like him to go to bed earlier and then I have some evening time left. So yeah, if you find that your second nap, or the whatever the latest nap is really interfering with when your child should go to bed, that might be a clue you should switch. Oh yeah, if you're having early morning wakings like I talked about, that could be a clue that you're ready to switch up the napping schedule. Last one was if your baby begins to consistently have short naps. So if they were having awesome naps and then all of a sudden they're waking up early and it seems like they just weren't that tired, like maybe they seemed really tired before they took the nap, but then all they needed was this short little power thing, then that might be a sign that your baby's ready to drop a nap. So how do you drop a nap? The one thing that I'm trying to do with Wilson right now is stretch his wake times a bit during the day. And an effective way that we have found to do that is when he starts to seem tired, we change activities. Because if he's tired and bored inside the house, it is really difficult to keep that kid happy. And it's difficult to keep me happy when he's like that. And so then I actually really want to put him down for a nap. But like if I put him in the stroller and we go for a walk, or somebody takes him to the playground or something, then he's happy, he doesn't seem as tired, and then we can push that wake time. What I think you should do, what I've been learning and what I've been doing, is don't try to push the wake time like a huge amount right in the beginning. I would say just aim for like 10-minute, 15-minute increments. I think that's what my sleep lady said, but I can't remember. And if you pay for professional help, they'll probably give you more specific advice. But this is what I'm doing with Wilson right now, okay? Is I'm stretching his wake time gradually, and I'm doing it by changing activities, including sunlight in his life. The reason why I think that's a smart idea is just because that's how we overcome jet lag when we travel. And we used to be a very traveling family because we lived in Spain, and that's what our life needed. And the best way to do that was lots of light during wake times and then lots of dark during sleep times. And so for Wilson, we're trying to keep it light, bright, active to extend the wake times little bits. This one is pretty simple and probably wise to implement for your child's whole life, and that is have some pretty standard routines before nap and bedtime, and then just stick to them. Don't switch it up. And for Eloise, my first child, I think my routine was like pretty excessive. I wanted it to just be so great, and I was gonna be mother of the year. So I like read to her before every bedtime, which if you love that, you should do that. It gets a little bit harder when you have more kids, and like, how are you supposed to read to everybody? Anyway, but if you can do it, I believe in you. But have a few things that you do that tell your child that it's bedtime. So for me, it's just as simple as closing the curtains, putting them in a sleep sack, turning on the sound machine. It was nursing for a time. I don't nurse anymore. Giving a bottle of milk if that's what he needs. He doesn't have that before every sleep, but sometimes if I think he's hungry, I'll offer him something. And then just night night, I love you. I turn on his ceiling fan so he watches that, and then he has a little bear that he loves to love, and so I give him his pacifier and I give him his bear, and I say night night Wilson, night night bear, and I give him the bear and he like snuggles it, and it's very cute. You guys will like it. I wish you could come be with us for that part. It's so cute. But then that's our routine, and we do it before every nap, and we do it before every bedtime. So it's not he needs a bath, he needs oil, he needs lathered up, he needs a song and a book and a prayer and all of these things. Do that if you want to do that, but I just don't want Wilson to expect a whole song and dance before every sleep. So have something that you do that's consistent and amazing. Make it as long or short as you want to fit your lifestyle, because you're allowed to do it totally different from me, and I'm not a professional. Oh yeah, and then now is not the time to fall back on habits that you've already overcome. So if your baby's waking up in the night, it's not the time to pick them up, nurse them back to sleep, rock them back to sleep, shush them, do all the things, because if you're already overcoming these like sleep crutches, these things that help your baby sleep, you don't want to reintroduce them and then have to re-overcome them. So it's okay to like do some loving pats and things. I don't know how to explain that part. I'm getting a little confused because what I want to tell you is to try to avoid reintroducing bad habits that you maybe have overcome. But the tricky thing is, I don't know how old your baby is, and I don't know how far along you guys are in your sleep process. So like for me with Wilson right now, Wilson is capable of sleeping through the night entirely. We did go through a time where he nursed throughout the night, where he needed a lot of attention throughout the night, but we did some sleep training according to this Helping Babies Sleep. And so now we're at a point where I feel confident that he can sleep through the night. And so the bad habits that I wouldn't want to reintroduce would be something like when he's crying that I have to rub his back until he's completely asleep. Or like if he's crying, I have to be like holding him and bouncing him until he's totally asleep. He would love that because it's so nice to be held until you're totally asleep. But that's not setting us up for success, and it's not really setting him up for success when he wakes up in the night. It's actually best if he has the ability to put himself back to sleep. So I don't know where you're at with that. I want to encourage you that if you want your baby to sleep through the night, I don't know, it depends on what age your baby is, but they are capable of learning how to be better sleepers, and it's not gonna torture you to teach them how to do that. It is tricky. With Eloise, I took longer, and I remember the first time I slept through the night with Eloise, and she was over 1.5 years old. And we finally nailed down sleep training, and finally I was getting a full night of sleep, and I felt like a new person. With Wilson, we had decided not to do it the same way we did it with Eloise. Even though those were precious memories of nursing her throughout the night, it was exhausting. And I think honestly it contributed to some poor mental health in my own end. I don't think that's gonna happen for everyone, but for me that is real. I think having a sleep that worked well for my family helps me to be a healthier person in here. So with Wilson, we prioritized sleep training earlier, and it has been very, very, very helpful. And then in facing this situation of figuring out his naps and early morning wakings, I'm not then also having to wean him from milk throughout the night. I'm not having to break a bunch of habits all at once. If you are in that situation where you're looking at this going, wow, I actually have so many things that I would like to see change about the way we're doing nighttime sleep in our house, don't be discouraged. You can totally do this. You can do it just using free resources that are available, or you can do it very specifically using someone that you pay for and consult for wisdom and insight. This woman that I'm using, it's a class, so it's like an online class that I'm listening to and watching, but then she has a private Facebook group and she answers questions in it live. I believe it's 3 times a week. And so you can really get very specific answers if you need them. For me, I haven't needed the specifics. I've needed like the general wisdom, and then I've been implementing it as I have need, and it's been very effective. So I hope that that's helpful. I hope I'm not all over the place. I feel like I might be, but that's okay. Having babies is wonderful. It's gonna get easier. If you're struggling at all, it's gonna get easier. When it comes to sleep stuff, you are gonna probably need support from somebody else in your home. If you're able to have that, your partner, your spouse, your friend, I don't know who lives with you, a family member, it would be great to have somebody who can help cheer you on and like be on the same team with you. My sister, I know she's done a lot of sleep training stuff on the weekends when her husband could be there as well and wouldn't be super exhausted the next day if they had a tough night together. So do what works best for your family. These little transitions of dropping naps, they're short. They feel long when you're in it. Anything that affects sleep, I know, feels so long, but they're short. You're gonna do great, and give yourself a lot of grace, patience, coffee if you need it in the process, because you're gonna be able to move through it into the next thing. It just feels a little bit overwhelming when you're inside of it. And go to bed early. If you are anticipating your child waking up really early, I think you should go to bed when I do, which is so early that my friends and family think I'm a grandmother. But if I know I have to be up early, then I would rather not be feeling miserable from the time that I'm getting up until the first time I'm able to lay back down for a nap. So I hope that helps you. I'm sorry this is long. Eek, I hope it's a good video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week, with or without a baby, we don't know. Okay, see you soon. Bye.